In a world that constantly tries to tell you when and how to show up, what if we stopped waiting for the perfect moment and treated every day like it was game day? Imagine facing each challenge, task, and opportunity with the full commitment and intensity of a professional athlete. Stoicism teaches us that how we respond to life's challenges is what truly matters. And the real champions are the ones who consistently show up no matter the circumstances. So let's dive into why you need to treat every single day like game day and how it can change the game for you. Hack number 1, forget balance. Chase excellence in the moment. We live in a world obsessed with balance. You've heard the advice: find the perfect work-life balance, juggle everything effortlessly, or achieve harmony between career, family, and self-care. It sounds appealing, but the truth is, balance is often an illusion. The Stoics would argue it's a distraction from living fully and intentionally. Stoicism isn't about perfectly allocating time to every aspect of your life. Instead, it's about devoting your full energy and attention to whatever you're doing in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You must concentrate on the task before you, as if it's the only thing that matters." This is where true excellence lies. Why balance can be a distraction. The concept of balance often leads to multitasking, splitting your attention across multiple priorities in a constant attempt to do it all. But in Stoic thought, chasing many things at once dilutes your energy and weakens your focus. Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thoughtful-ish and stupid. By this, he means you must tune out societal pressures to conform or balance everything and focus single-mindedly on what's truly important. Trying to balance everything can also create anxiety, as it leads to the fear of falling short in one area or another. The Stoic alternative, pursuing excellence in the moment. The Stoic approach is not about dividing your time equally. It's about maximizing the quality of your effort. This means identifying priorities, what truly matters right now. The Stoics taught that virtue and purpose should guide your actions. Whether it's a work project or a conversation with a loved one, act with clarity of purpose. Letting go of guilt, Marcus Aurelius didn't worry about whether he was neglecting his personal life while dealing with the governance of an empire. He focused on the immediate task and gave it his full attention. Don't let guilt over what you're not doing diminish the value of what you are doing. Being fully present. This aligns with Marcus Aurelius' advice to confine yourself to the present. Excellence is found not in juggling tasks, but in immersing yourself completely in one. Whether it's working on a presentation, meditating, or playing with your kids, be all in. How to implement this in modern life? You may not be ruling an empire like Marcus Aurelius, but the principle applies. Focus completely on what's in front of you. Here are steps to practice this mindset. Start your day with clarity. Identify the most important task or focus for your day. As Seneca said, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Having a clear goal helps eliminate distractions and ensures you prioritize effectively. Break free from the multitasking trap. Multitasking creates the illusion of productivity while reducing the quality of your results. Shift to single tasking by committing fully to one action at a time. If you're at work, set aside time to deeply focus on your project. If you're with your family, put down your phone and give them your undivided attention. Eliminate time wasters. Stoics didn't tolerate frivolity. Identify distractions that pull you away from being present. Whether it's social media, unnecessary notifications, or overcommitting to minor tasks, cut them out. Your attention is a finite resource. Protect it fiercely. The reward of present moment excellence. Living in the moment doesn't mean neglecting other responsibilities. It means trusting that by focusing fully now, you're laying the groundwork for long-term success. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, perform each action as though it were your last. When you stop chasing balance and start chasing excellence in each moment, you gain more fulfillment and clarity. You'll feel less overwhelmed and more grounded, knowing that you're fully showing up for what matters. Forget balance. It's not about splitting yourself into fragments, but about being whole wherever you are. The Stoic life is not one of constant striving, but of focused, intentional effort. Concentrate on what's in front of you as if it's the only thing that matters, and you'll find excellence not just in your productivity, but in your entire way of living. Hack number 2, kill your inner perfectionist. Perfectionism, this nagging drive to make everything flawless, may sound like the path to excellence. But in the realm of Stoicism, it's seen as the opposite of productivity and peace of mind. The more you chase perfection, the more you stall your progress. Seneca, one of the Stoic greats, summed it up perfectly when he said, "While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away." Think about how many times you've obsessed over the tiny details of a project, only to find yourself making no real progress. The perfect is the enemy of the good. In the case of Stoicism, perfection is often a major roadblock to living a fulfilled, intentional life. Why perfectionism is an illusion. Perfectionism is a myth, and Stoicism demands we recognize this. Even when things seem flawless on the outside, there's always room for imperfection. The universe itself operates not in perfection, but in astonishing effectiveness. The stars are constantly moving, but they don't wait until every element is in perfect alignment to shine. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is not what we wish could be. This principle helps to detach from the impossible standard of perfection. It's about seeing life's messiness as part of the process, not something to avoid or control. In fact, the Stoics didn't see perfection as something to strive for in every action. They valued virtue, the consistency of effort, not immaculate outcomes. They embraced the idea of being good at being human, flaws and all. Perfectionism and procrastination, a destructive duo. One of the major issues with perfectionism, as Seneca points out, is that it often paralyzes you. You delay, overthink, and repeatedly edit without actually completing anything. This is procrastination masked as striving for the best result. Perfectionism makes you fear the incomplete, the inadequate, or the messy. But here's the truth. If you constantly wait for things to be just right, you'll never do anything. Stoicism teaches you to take action even when things aren't perfect, and that finished is far superior to perfected. Epictetus often reminded us that what matters is not how gracefully you execute a task, but that you execute it at all. Embrace the power of imperfection. Rather than aiming for perfection, shift your focus to progress. In Stoic philosophy, there is a deep appreciation for daily improvement, however small. Stoics didn't need perfection to be content with their actions. What mattered was whether they were living according to virtue and purpose. Think about the imperfection in nature. Trees don't grow straight all the time. Animals don't act in ways that we might think of as perfect. And even a mountain landscape can be chaotic yet beautiful. In the same way, the act of creation or doing anything well doesn't have to be flawless. It just has to be done well enough to reflect your best effort. How to kill your inner perfectionist. So, how can we truly implement Stoicism to kill our perfectionism and boost productivity? Here are practical tips that turn Stoic thinking into action. Set clear intentions, not expectations. Rather than fixating on achieving some unreasonably high standard, define your intentions clearly. The Stoics weren't focused on how something would turn out, only that their intentions aligned with virtue and action. Define a task by its value, not its perfection. Make imperfection a strength, not a liability. Embrace imperfection as part of the creative process. No great achievement ever emerged fully formed without some flaws. Remember that people often learn more from what goes wrong than from the perfect execution of tasks. So make mistakes confidently and learn from them as they come. Challenge the urge to revisit and revise forever. Instead of continually refining a task to your personal sense of perfection, set deadlines for yourself. Make a rule that once you've worked on something for a certain time or reached a set point in your progress, you move on. Move past your inclination to edit endlessly and accept that it's good enough for now. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Don't let perfection be the barrier that stops your action from advancing. Focus on the process, not the end result. When we focus on the process, we stop getting bogged down by perfectionism. Focusing on the action at hand keeps you grounded in the present and frees you from worrying about how things should turn out. Reflecting on progress feels more satisfying than waiting for an ideal conclusion. Recognize fear of imperfection as a path to procrastination. Fear is at the core of perfectionism. It's the fear that your efforts aren't good enough or won't meet standards. Stoicism calls you to recognize that fear and act in spite of it. Don't let that inner voice that says, "not yet," dictate when you'll finish something. Face it and finish regardless of the doubts. The rewards of letting go of perfectionism. By adopting the Stoic approach of finishing, not perfecting, you'll realize the freedom that comes with completing tasks rather than endlessly perfecting them. Productivity isn't about the idealized outcome. It's about getting things done and learning from them. Perfectionism breeds self-doubt, slows down your momentum, and often results in procrastination. Letting go of perfection can accelerate your personal growth, your relationships, and your career. By focusing more on the process and the effort, you embrace your true potential. If there's one thing Stoicism teaches us, it's that growth doesn't come from perfection. It comes from action. Life is too short to spend it striving for flawless outcomes. Instead, focus on doing your best and getting better with each step. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you make room for your true excellence to emerge. So kill that inner perfectionist, take action, and let progress be the measure of your success. Life's too valuable to waste on an unattainable standard. Hack number 3, stop romanticizing burnout. In today's world, hustle culture is everywhere. We glorify working until the last ounce of energy is drained, and many wear burnout like a badge of honor. Phrases like, "sleep when you're dead," or "grind till you shine," have become the go-to mantras for pushing through exhaustion in the pursuit of success. But in the eyes of Stoicism, this modern glorification of burnout is not only counterproductive, it's also dangerous. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor who had more responsibilities than most can fathom, stressed the importance of rest and balance. Yet, too many of us get caught in the belief that the more we sacrifice, the more we succeed. Stoicism tells us a different story. The truth about burnout. We all have limits, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Stoics knew this well and understood that sustainability is key to a productive and peaceful life. Burnout occurs when we push ourselves beyond what we can maintain without letting up. It happens when we treat ourselves like machines that can function nonstop, neglecting the fact that rest is a vital part of that function. The Stoics weren't opposed to hard work, but they didn't romanticize exhaustion. They knew that true productivity arises from a balanced approach, recognizing that life is a marathon, not a sprint. According to Epictetus, no man is free who is not master of himself, and part of mastery over yourself is knowing when to rest. By understanding and respecting your limits, you're more likely to sustain energy and focus over time. The danger of romanticizing burnout. When we romanticize burnout, we're celebrating the very thing that makes us unproductive in the long run, exhaustion. Here's the paradox. We think we're being more productive by working longer hours, but all we're doing is diminishing the quality of our work. The idea of pushing harder no matter what may give you short-term gratification, but it ultimately reduces your ability to work well. Stoicism warns against this trap. Constantly pushing yourself to the brink not only leads to physical and mental depletion, but it also disconnects you from other parts of life that require energy and focus, such as relationships, health, and personal growth. Rest and recovery are part of the natural cycle of work, and denying yourself this breaks down your sense of well-being, leading you down a path of diminished results and potential breakdown. The Stoic view on rest. Rest isn't the opposite of discipline. It's an integral part of it. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote about the need to take time for rest, even while fulfilling his duties as emperor. I am not to be deceived by a tired body. He recognized that his most important task wasn't pushing his body to the limit, but maintaining his focus and energy to lead effectively. In modern life, we too need to recognize that rest isn't something to be guilty about. In fact, rest is an essential part of efficiency. The Stoics would argue that in order to maintain high-quality work over time, You must treat yourself with the same care that you would any other valuable tool. A sharp knife doesn't cut effectively if it's never sharpened or allowed to rest. Similarly, we cannot keep working at our peak without intervals for recharging, practicing a sustainable work approach. So, how do we integrate the Stoic mindset into our approach to work and productivity? Embrace downtime as a strength, not a weakness. The idea that rest equals laziness is a byproduct of modern capitalism's glorification of overwork. But in Stoic thought, active rest is just as critical as effort. When you give yourself a break, you are not losing momentum. You are replenishing the mental and physical resources that will help you perform at a higher level later. Recognizing that rest is vital to success in the long run is a powerful realization. Create boundaries for your workday. Marcus Aurelius talked about the importance of boundaries in his Meditations when he mentioned how one must make time for their own peace amidst the chaos. Set clear hours for work and set clear hours for rest. Don't allow work to bleed into every waking moment. Learn to disengage so that you can fully recharge. Listen to your body and mind. A key part of Stoicism is tuning into what your body and mind are telling you. If you feel fatigued or mentally foggy, take a moment to step away. A brief walk, an intentional break, or even just 5 minutes of deep breathing can restore clarity and refocus your energy. A Stoic's relationship with work is about understanding that overexertion isn't a demonstration of commitment, but a failure to respect their own human needs. Incorporate mindful practices to recenter. Meditation and mindfulness are ways to achieve rest that involve disconnecting from the work world momentarily. Stoic practices like journaling or reflecting on what is within your control could have the same rejuvenating effects. These practices can clear mental clutter, allowing your focus to recharge for the next challenge. Reframe your definition of success. Instead of equating success with an endless hustle and fatigue, start framing your productivity around making meaningful contributions while maintaining balance. Your performance at work shouldn't come at the cost of your physical or mental health. Create small milestones, not just to-do lists. The Stoic mantra, sufficient is enough. One of the core Stoic principles is learning to live with enough. Enough means recognizing when you've done what you can for the day and when it's time to rest. Unlike the toxic hustle mentality of never stop, Stoics aim for sufficiency. When you've given your best effort, it's okay to stop. Life continues regardless of whether we're in perpetual motion or at rest. Remember that striving for constant efficiency can be a trap. If we work endlessly without respecting our need for rest, we risk missing out on the meaningful experiences that rest brings us. These moments not only recharge us, but allow for new insights and perspectives when we come back to our tasks. Stop romanticizing burnout. It's not a badge of honor, it's a sign that something is out of balance. Stoicism teaches us that the key to high performance and success isn't constant hustling, but sustainable effort. Burn bright, but not so bright that you burn out. Make rest a fundamental part of your strategy for success, because a rested mind and body are the most effective tools you have. No hustle culture can replace the wisdom of recognizing your limits and allowing yourself time to heal and grow. This way, your productivity won't be a fleeting fire, but a steady flame that lasts. Hack number 4, toughen up. Comfort is making you lazy. In today's world, we've become surrounded by comfort. Smartphones to keep us entertained, delivery services to bring us food, climate-controlled environments, and cushioned lifestyles designed to minimize discomfort. On the surface, comfort seems like a positive, right? It's what we work hard for, after all, a life of ease and luxury. But in reality, excessive comfort may be doing more harm than good. It's lulling us into a state of complacency and laziness. The Stoics, with their focus on virtue, discipline, and self-improvement, had a radically different view. They knew that comfort makes us soft. They deliberately embraced discomfort to toughen their minds and bodies. Let's dig into why voluntary discomfort, actively choosing moments of hardship, can transform your life. Comfort leads to laziness. Our modern, comfort-driven lives have made us weak, both physically and mentally. We live in a world where everything is designed for convenience. But here's the reality. When we avoid challenge and struggle, we're undermining our ability to build resilience and toughness. The result is laziness, though it may be disguised as relaxation or leisure. The Stoics warned us of this. Seneca wrote about the impact of luxury, describing it as a sedative that lulls the spirit. When we get too accustomed to ease, our motivation diminishes. We stop taking risks. We stop pushing ourselves to grow. Why leave the couch when the world comes to us? Why attempt difficult tasks when the comfortable alternative is just a few taps away? It's a slippery slope, and one the Stoics intentionally avoided. The Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort. What's fascinating about Stoicism is the emphasis on voluntary discomfort, the practice of deliberately exposing oneself to discomfort or challenge. The goal? To build resilience, strengthen mental fortitude, and sharpen discipline. Instead of seeking the comfort of endless leisure, Stoics intentionally sought out difficulties in daily life that would force them to grow. In a modern context, this can mean a lot of things. Skimming on luxuries. Skip that daily latte. The coffee is not just about the caffeine. It's the luxury, the comfort. Walking instead of driving. Don't take the easy option to drive to a nearby place. Walk. The effort and inconvenience are tools for strengthening your resolve. Choosing early mornings. Getting up an hour earlier than you need to can feel uncomfortable at first. But with consistency, this act trains you to fight laziness and conquer each day with clarity and purpose. The Stoics understood that true growth and resilience come from facing discomfort head-on, not avoiding it. In fact, they viewed discomfort not as a barrier to peace, but as a means to develop true inner peace. Through discomfort, they honed their ability to endure, focus, and stay grounded in their values despite external challenges. How comfort weakens the mind. There is a psychological aspect to the ease and comfort we seek. Every time we make life more convenient for ourselves, we make our ability to cope with true challenges weaker. The more we avoid discomfort, the more it becomes difficult to handle when we face real hardships in life. Think of your body as a muscle. If you never lift anything heavier than your laptop, your physical strength will inevitably weaken. The same happens with your mind. If you never challenge yourself, face struggles, or resist the urge for instant gratification, your mental fortitude will decline. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stoics didn't concern themselves with theoretical discussions. They believed that each challenge, each moment of discomfort, was an opportunity to practice and strengthen the virtues of courage, temperance, and endurance. Benefits of embracing discomfort. Choosing discomfort in your day-to-day life isn't just about avoiding laziness. It's about improving your performance and life satisfaction in the long run. Here's why embracing voluntary discomfort works. Stronger mental resilience. Facing challenges intentionally builds resilience. When you choose discomfort, you train yourself to deal with the unknown and to remain calm in situations that could otherwise throw you off balance. The more you practice it, the stronger you get in terms of emotional endurance. Just as lifting weights makes your muscles grow, enduring discomfort mentally and physically makes your capacity for tough situations grow. Improved discipline. Discipline isn't about following orders or being rigid. It's about developing consistency in pursuit of your goals. When you push through discomfort, you automatically build discipline. It trains you to persevere, avoid procrastination, and stay focused on what matters most. You choose the difficult road because you understand the greater benefits on the other side. Increased appreciation for the simple things. Comfort can lead to entitlement. We start expecting things to always go our way, and frustration builds when things don't. When you experience discomfort, however, you develop a new appreciation for the simple comforts of life. The act of fasting, cutting out luxury, or taking cold showers reminds you of the value in what you have, because you know what it feels like when you intentionally push your limits. Heightened awareness of self. The Stoic principle of self-awareness, being conscious of how you act, think, and react in each moment, becomes easier when you practice discomfort. It forces you to become more introspective and aware of your mindset. When comfort is removed, you're forced to check your mental state regularly, learning more about your weaknesses and strengths as a result. Practical ways to implement voluntary discomfort. Now that we understand the importance of discomfort and resilience, Let's talk about how to incorporate it into daily life. You don't have to go all in, but these simple habits can gradually toughen you up. Cold showers. Sounds extreme, but a cold shower is one of the simplest ways to train your body to endure discomfort. The shock to your system is momentary, but the benefits, boosted energy, mental clarity, and emotional resilience stay with you long after. Limit luxury. Don't just spend on what you desire for comfort. Sometimes give up small luxuries like your favorite snack or excessively expensive coffee. Choose less desirable options so you learn how to navigate discomfort with peace, avoiding the trap of overindulgence. Mindful workouts. Take your workouts further. Challenge your body not just with comfort-friendly routines, but with exercises that push your limits. Whether it's lifting heavier weights, running further, or trying an intense HIIT workout, voluntary discomfort in fitness builds your resilience for all aspects of life. Simplify your day. Introduce discomfort by minimizing distractions and comforts throughout the day. Wake up earlier, cut out your daily media consumption, or disconnect from distractions like your phone during working hours. Learn to be productive without your usual props. The more we become accustomed to comfort, the more we are feeding laziness and stagnation. Embracing discomfort is not about making life harder. It's about making yourself stronger, more disciplined, and more present in each moment. The Stoics understood that personal growth comes from hardship, challenge, and overcoming adversity. Remember, a life lived only for comfort leads to mediocrity. It's the hard-won victories, the ones you had to work for, sweat for, and endure that build lasting resilience. Toughen up, embrace the discomfort, and use it as your training ground for a more fulfilling life. Through discomfort, you not only develop strength, but you also gain wisdom, making every challenge an opportunity for growth. Hack number 5, quit whining about notifications. You're addicted, own it. Let's face it, most of us are addicted to our devices. Every buzz, ding, or pop-up from our phones is a call to action, pulling us in and distracting us from the tasks at hand. Social media, work emails, text messages, all demand our attention. At the end of the day, we're constantly reacting to these small, insignificant interruptions, and it often feels like we have no control. But, as the Stoics would argue, that's where the problem lies. We're letting our external circumstances dictate our internal state. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "You are your habits." What does that mean? Simply put, our habits are reflections of who we are. If you constantly find yourself checking notifications or feeling compelled to respond immediately to every alert, you're shaping a life of reaction, not action. Stoicism teaches us that the key to personal growth and inner peace is to align our habits with our true goals. And in today's world, this starts with taking control of the digital distractions that are undermining our productivity, peace, and well-being. The addiction to instant gratification. Notifications, at their core, feed into one thing: our desire for instant gratification. The human brain is wired to respond to dopamine, the feel-good chemical that is released every time we check our phone or get a notification. It's addictive, plain, and simple. And the more we engage with these immediate stimuli, the harder it becomes to resist the next notification and the next. But here's where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics understood that our emotions, desires, and behaviors need to be controlled and redirected if we want to live fulfilling lives. You might feel that internal pull to check your phone, but the Stoic response is to pause, recognize that impulse, and choose a more meaningful action instead. The idea is not to eliminate the craving or impulse entirely, but to cultivate self-mastery, the power to choose how to respond in the moment. The mindset shift, from reaction to control. In today's world, we are conditioned to react to everything. But this constant reactionary mindset takes away from our capacity to be intentional. We lose our ability to focus, to engage deeply with important tasks, and ultimately, we waste time and energy on things that don't matter. If you stop for a moment and reflect, you'll notice something. Most of the notifications you receive won't have any real impact on your life. That work email, chances are it isn't time sensitive. That social media ping, it's just another notification that could be ignored without consequence. The reality is that we've conditioned ourselves to believe that everything deserves our attention. The Stoics, however, saw this habit of automatic reaction as detrimental to their growth. Epictetus famously said, "Freedom is the only true good." By giving into constant distractions, we become slaves to our devices. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, which includes our attention. How can we focus on higher goals like self-improvement or our work when we're constantly derailed by a buzz or a chime? Recognizing and owning the problem. The first step toward overcoming this digital addiction is acknowledging it. Let's be honest, you're addicted to notifications. It's not the technology. It's the way you're choosing to use it. Rather than continuing to blame external factors, it's time to take ownership of your behavior. Remember, Stoicism emphasizes the power of self-awareness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." What you allow to distract you ultimately shapes your mental life. Instead of giving yourself permission to react every time a new notification arrives, recognize that you control how and when to engage. Choose when to check your phone. Don't let it dictate when you check it. Recognize how it affects your emotions. Does the dopamine rush from checking your device create more urgency or contentment in your life? Examine what this habit says about your values. Is your need to immediately respond signaling that you're putting external validation above inner peace? Simply put, if you're reacting more than you're acting, you're losing the opportunity to live intentionally. And that's where the true problem lies. Turning off notifications, a small act of control. The Stoic act of taking control starts by managing your distractions. Turn off your notifications and reclaim your peace. This small but impactful action helps you regain control of your focus. Now, when you check your phone, it's because you decided to, not because your phone decided for you. This applies not only to social media apps, but to your email, news updates, and any unnecessary alerts that bombard your mind throughout the day. Start small by implementing boundaries. Maybe it means only checking your email at set times or muting your social apps until after a specific hour. Doing so frees up space to think clearly, work with intention, and connect with the people or tasks that truly matter. The power of focused, intentional time. Once the notifications are under control, you'll start to notice something remarkable: a clearer, calmer mind. Focus no longer gets hijacked by the constant bombardment of alerts. What was once a life defined by interruptions becomes a day defined by focus and productivity. This brings us back to the core of Stoic teachings. Focus on what you can control. The distractions around us are beyond our control, but we can control how we react to them. When we minimize distractions, we allow our minds to be sharp, our goals to stay in focus, and our energy to be spent wisely. As Seneca once said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." And living with fewer distractions, just a few meaningful notifications, is exactly that: contentment and simplicity. Reclaiming your life, one notification at a time. It might seem small, but reducing the noise in your life is one of the most powerful actions you can take. The Stoics viewed peace and clarity as essential for living a virtuous life, and technology today can often be a barrier to peace and clarity. So, to align with Stoic practices, actively choose what deserves your time and attention. Rather than letting notifications dictate your day, you'll soon find that you can build a deeper connection with your goals in your life. Own your habit. Acknowledge the addiction to instant gratification and focus on becoming a master of your own attention. The more you reduce distractions, the more energy and mental clarity you gain. Soon, you'll be so in tune with your goals that irrelevant notifications will fall into the background of your life. So next time you catch yourself reaching for your phone just to check yet another notification, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself if this moment of distraction aligns with your goals. Likely it doesn't, but instead of falling victim to these constant interruptions, choose to own the habit. Take control over your device, not the other way around. This simple shift in mindset and in action can drastically change how you work, how you engage, and ultimately how you live. With Stoic discipline, you can shift from reaction to intentional action. Reclaim your focus, manage your attention, and let your habits define a life of purpose and achievement, not a life enslaved to digital distractions. Hack number 6, don't just stay busy, stay strategic. In today's world, being busy has become a badge of honor. How many times have you heard someone say, "I'm swamped," or "I've got so much on my plate"? It seems as if the more you're busy, the more successful you appear. But let's be brutally honest for a moment. Busyness doesn't necessarily equal productivity. You could be racing from one task to the next, yet feel like nothing substantial is getting accomplished. The problem, most people aren't staying strategic. They're simply staying busy for the sake of it. Enter Stoicism. The Stoics valued efficiency, focus, and intentionality. They weren't just about filling up their days with frantic activity. Instead, they thought long and hard about what they spent their time on and made sure their actions were meaningful. So let's stop equating busyness with success and start embracing a more deliberate, strategic approach to how we spend our time. The myth of busyness. How many of us constantly find ourselves swamped by a never-ending list of tasks? We answer emails, scroll through messages, go from one meeting to another, and before we know it, the day is over. But despite all of that movement, have we actually accomplished anything meaningful? Being busy is not a sign of productivity. In fact, it often points to poor time management, misplaced priorities, or simply filling the hours with inconsequential tasks. The world today encourages this mindless busyness. It's celebrated. But if we're truly after personal growth, achievement, and peace of mind, the Stoic way is clear. Busyness alone doesn't cut it. The Stoic approach, prioritizing what's essential. The Stoics were notorious for their strategic focus. Instead of scattering their efforts, they intentionally directed their energy toward what truly mattered, what aligned with their values, purpose, and the cultivation of virtue. Their guiding principle was, what is essential? Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, repeatedly encouraged himself to focus on what he could control and let go of the trivial. He often reminded himself that his time on earth was limited, which made the pursuit of meaning far more valuable than mere activity. In a world that emphasizes constant work, the Stoics were always asking, what do I need to do? Instead of running in circles, they dedicated their efforts toward a singular, worthwhile purpose. This strategic focus is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. Rather than saying yes to everything that comes your way or simply staying busy, you need to step back, evaluate, and ask, what will serve my long-term goals? What action will bring me closer to my ideal self? Strategic action, the key to Stoic productivity. Consider this, it's not how many things you do, but how well you do them. To achieve excellence in life, you need to be strategic with your actions. Staying busy is just a cheap way of filling time. But the true key to productivity is strategic action, focused, deliberate, and aligned with your long-term goals. Stoicism asks us to practice the art of discernment and prioritize the things that will help us grow. To understand this fully, let's break down some practical ideas. Value depth over breadth. It's tempting to take on multiple projects, to say yes to every opportunity. But doing this spreads you thin, diminishing your ability to excel in any single area. The Stoics taught us the importance of focus. They didn't flit from task to task. They concentrated on one thing at a time, giving it their full attention and energy. The result? Excellence. Instead of pursuing fleeting distractions, direct your attention toward one worthwhile goal. Learn the art of saying no. One of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to say no strategically. The Stoics understood that every new project, every extra task, takes time and energy away from the things that truly matter. But our society conditions us to say yes, to people-pleasing, to external pressures, to simply doing something. The Stoic way involves carefully evaluating your commitments. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? If the answer is no, the strategic choice is clear. Politely decline. Saying no is one of the best ways to ensure you're not just staying busy, but staying focused on what will move the needle in your life. Focus on quality, not quantity. Focus on doing a few things extraordinarily well rather than doing many things poorly. We live in a time where multitasking is celebrated, but it often dilutes our attention. If your focus is scattered across dozens of small tasks, none will be given the depth and attention they deserve. Stoicism asks us to resist the temptation of quantity and instead embrace quality. Pursue excellence in the work that aligns with your core purpose, and give each effort the depth it deserves. The cost of constant busyness. There's a deeper truth to address. Being constantly busy is actually a trap. When you're addicted to busyness, you're avoiding something: the discomfort of stillness, the fear of missing out, or the anxiety of not doing enough. This addiction to busyness is a quick path to burnout and unhappiness. The Stoics warned about this too. While our modern world glorifies hustle and grind, the Stoics warn about mindless labor for the sake of appearing productive. In fact, they were adamant about reflection, quiet time, and thoughtful action. Why? Because the constant buzz of activity drains us of the ability to think clearly, to live intentionally, and to cultivate the deeper virtues that ultimately lead to a fulfilled life. The power of intentional rest. To build an effective strategy for your life, the Stoics knew that intentional rest was just as important as productive work. In fact, Marcus Aurelius considered the act of resting productive, provided it was used for reflection, self-mastery, or recharging for the next phase of action. The mind needs rest to work efficiently. Constant busyness can actually lead to mindlessness, not the goal of a Stoic. So, one way to integrate Stoic strategy into your daily life is by scheduling times of rest and reflection. Focus not just on tasks, but on mental clarity and focus. Plan your breaks as a strategic tool for effectiveness, not as an escape from hard work. Recalibrate your priorities. When was the last time you really sat down to assess your priorities? When we're overwhelmed, it's easy to drown in tasks without questioning their true value. The Stoic perspective gives you the courage to challenge your routine and refine your focus. Before you dive into your day, take a moment for reflection. Evaluate how each task lines up with your life's vision and values. Don't let your agenda dictate your actions. Choose your priorities intentionally. One of the most powerful habits the Stoics maintained was the morning reflection, a period where they aligned their actions with their deepest values. This practice didn't make them busy, it made them strategic. Before you dive into each day's frantic energy, consider how you can incorporate this Stoic habit of intentional thinking and prioritization. It's time to take a stand. Don't allow your life to be consumed by constant busyness that leaves you empty and unfocused. Instead, embrace the Stoic ideal of strategic living. Be intentional with your time. Prioritize with purpose and focus on meaningful actions. By practicing this kind of deliberate Stoic action, you'll not only avoid the trap of mindless productivity, but also cultivate a life filled with purpose, growth, and impact. Remember, as Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Strategic living means ensuring that every moment of your time serves the greater picture of your life, not just filling up your schedule for the sake of it. Stay strategic. Reclaim control of your time. Hack number 7, treat every day like game day. In a world obsessed with motivation and the perfect moment, it's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for the stars to align before taking action. We often tell ourselves we'll work harder when we feel more inspired or when the circumstances feel just right. But here's the harsh truth. Those perfect moments rarely come and inspiration is fleeting. The real key to success and fulfillment is showing up, day in and day out, regardless of how you feel. And this is where Stoicism shines. The Stoics understood the value of action, not waiting around for the universe to hand you an ideal situation or waiting for a sudden burst of motivation. They operated with discipline and the understanding that true greatness is built through consistent effort. If you want to master life's challenges, you must treat every day like game day. Every morning, wake up as though you're stepping into the arena ready for action, not waiting for the energy or motivation to find you. The Stoic view of action. Take a moment to reflect on what it truly means to live a Stoic life. Stoic philosophy isn't about grand gestures, living in a state of constant peak performance, or having everything in place before acting. In fact, Stoicism embraces action as a part of daily life, a consistent effort regardless of circumstances. It's about resilience, being ready to act, to perform and to face whatever challenges the day might throw at you. Epictetus, a key figure in Stoic thought, famously said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This encapsulates the Stoic approach. Define your intentions, and then relentlessly pursue them without hesitation, excuses, or waiting for a signal. Living this way means cultivating the habit of discipline, instead of relying on ephemeral bursts of motivation that often leave us feeling lost or stuck. In other words, stop waiting for the perfect time or mood to get started. Show up every day as if it's game day. The real game, discipline beats motivation. There's a myth we often tell ourselves: I'll do better once I'm motivated. It feels comforting to blame a lack of motivation for not achieving our goals. But Stoicism teaches us that this is simply a cop-out. Motivation is unreliable, and if you wait for it, you'll find yourself procrastinating and perpetually stalled. What the Stoics knew was more reliable and more empowering is discipline. Discipline is the unwavering commitment to act, regardless of mood or inspiration. It's that steady force that propels you to move forward, even on days when you feel less than inspired. The Stoic view on discipline emphasizes consistency, habit building, and resilience, the daily actions that, over time, stack up to profound change. When you treat every day like game day, you're not waiting for motivation to push you. You're stepping onto the field because you made the commitment to play. Embrace the daily game. Think about how athletes prepare for big games. Every day leading up to the big event, they practice, train, and perform at the highest level. Game day isn't the day to figure out the strategy, it's the day when they show up having already done the work. In the same way, every day of life can be seen as a game that requires the same level of preparation. In the Stoic framework, every moment is an opportunity to either grow or devolve. There's no waiting for a perfect time to be better or more disciplined. You perform now every day, no matter the external factors. This doesn't mean a life free of challenges, far from it. Stoics embrace hardship and discomfort, seeing them as opportunities to practice resilience. If you want to truly be prepared for life's challenges, treating every day as game day means living each moment with focused intent. Take a page from Stoic thinker Seneca. Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. Don't treat your work, relationships, or goals like a long string of days. Treat each day as its own game day. The stakes are high because you never know when the universe will throw an unexpected challenge at you. And when it does, you want to be prepared to perform, not because of some distant burst of inspiration, but because you've shown up with discipline every day. Overcoming the fear of inadequacy. Another hurdle people face when adopting the game day mindset is the fear of inadequacy. They're afraid that if they show up and try, they'll fail. But this fear is exactly the kind of thing that Stoicism asks us to face head-on. The Stoics believe that external circumstances, like winning or losing, are beyond our control, but how we respond is entirely ours. The true game isn't whether or not we succeed at every attempt. It's about showing up consistently, doing our best, and making sure our responses are aligned with our values. When we're terrified of failure, we miss the point entirely. Life doesn't stop when we fail. In fact, every loss is a learning moment that builds character and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius encouraged focusing on the present moment, noting that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Fear shouldn't paralyze you. It should motivate you to prepare and act. So when you treat every day like game day, you don't expect perfection. Instead, you're focused on consistent performance. Some days the game will be tough. Some days you'll win. Others, you'll learn valuable lessons. But the important thing is you showed up because it's game day. No off days. Bring your best every day. One of the most important takeaways from the Stoics is the need for relentless consistency. Marcus Aurelius even reminds us that no single action defines us. Instead, it's the sum of our repeated efforts. Your best doesn't come in bursts. It's the habit of showing up and performing at your best, regardless of mood, external circumstances, or the day of the week. When you approach each day with this mindset, You're also affirming to yourself and others that you are dedicated to progress, not perfection. That you're committed to continuous growth, whether or not the conditions are ideal. Rather than waiting for a day of inspiration, you create the conditions for success by practicing self-discipline. You allow for failure, but you show up in such a way that no day goes wasted. Don't sit on the sidelines waiting for motivation to strike. Treat every day as an opportunity to step into the arena and perform. Stoic principles give us the structure and discipline needed to rise above life's unpredictable nature. Game day doesn't come once or twice, it comes every single day. By living intentionally, focusing on what you can control, and mastering your habits, you get to craft a life of purpose and meaning. If you want to unlock your true potential, stop making excuses. Wake up, show up, get into the game every day. Discipline, not motivation, is your strongest ally. And in this game of life, it's the consistent player who wins in the end. Every day is an opportunity to rise, show up, and get better. Stop waiting for motivation to come knocking. Bring it with you every day, just like you would if you were about to take the field in a game that matters. Stoicism isn't about waiting for perfect conditions. It's about showing up, giving your best effort, and embracing the challenge, no matter what it brings. If you're ready to start living like it's game day, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below about how you're going to embrace this mindset every day. Let's make the most out of every day together. Keep showing up, and I'll see you in the next one.